So, good morning. It's 6 a.m. here. I have a very particular schedule since I'm dealing with countries I'm not in. However, yesterday, Lex Friedman, which I've been listening to for like over a year and really listening to, I get excited when I see a 5-hour conversation. And I've been learning so much. So, Lex Friedman, you've done more than... And then you were talking to McConaughey today. And I've been listening to McConaughey ever since Green Lights. It was my first audiobook. And then I had many others. It was a therapy audiobook. Really, it was amazing because you guys talked about it, but I didn't feel... It's almost like I was able to cure the little girl that was afraid inside of me, of the person in front of me, because I realized we don't have to judge it, we just gotta understand it better. And this thing has been like in my head for a while, and I'm not sure, but I know that I have this. Of course, I believe in the greatest love story ever, which is multifaceted, and it can only be that if there's a shift in everyone. That's the greatest love story. And the shift is, it's getting relative, but it's getting relative. And okay, Narcissus. There are many versions now. I've been like obsessing over him these days because we use his story, and it's been a long time that we've been using it. And there are, again, variations, but the fact that your self-reflection in the water, which is transparent and it streams, the fact that he committed to that and we judged it because it doesn't feel right? He was saying no to everything else, to any other romances, or he was just into his own self-reflection. And we go, oh, yeah, he was shallow. He didn't get to live life because he did that until he died and became a flower. What if this is like, switch the whole thing, and what if you see this as the greatest act of love, because he was just seeking love in himself. He didn't hurt anybody. We assumed that he thought he was better because he didn't want to engage with the world. But if we could just accept his truth, we could be less shallow in thinking that he was just looking at a pretty face and it was that. No, he committed to himself. Today we say you gotta love yourself, right? You gotta commit to yourself. And we spread that message, but in our culture, we use, like, it creates a contradiction, because narcissism, like Narcissus became one of the worst mental illness. It's like, it stands for someone who lacks empathy, someone who feels they're better, they're superior, someone who will fuck you over for his own good. That's not Narcissus. He didn't hurt anybody. He wasn't married. He didn't have responsibilities. He just committed to himself. Just like when McConaughey just goes, one-way ticket to Amazon, one-way ticket to... I'm pretty sure he wanted to go back from Australia, right? I don't know. Anyway, this Narcissus guy, he just chose himself. He was, we don't know what he was seeing. And it's arrogant to think that a whole commitment to self-reflection on water means literally looking at how pretty you are. We have to fall in love with ourselves. And I think he was so brave, and like, he engineered a remedy, which is, after so many years, maybe we gotta stop and really see what was he what can we really learn from that. Just don't be vain. Humans are social. No. How can you promote self-love and have ingrained in your culture, like, that narcissism, like, using this story to explain why people lack love and hurt others, to explain how you can have a narcissistic mindset that can lead you into Hitler actions. And no, what if this soul was willing to commit to, because once you really look at your self-reflection and you love yourself, you love the world, you see there's a connection. And maybe the world wasn't ready for it, because instead of seeing the love that he was finding and seeking in himself, they didn't see any love. They saw, well, they saw fake, like, they saw something that they didn't understand, because nobody really had the courage to really look and to commit your life to look at your self-reflection in the water. And to be like used as the fucking pretty much source of a lot of bad patterns, behavioral patterns, when maybe all he did was the greatest act of love. It was okay that nobody understood, but he committed to love himself so much that eventually someone would get that that's the step that everybody needs to reach to be able to really love other people and really have relationships. You're not hurting someone by saying no. You're not hurting anyone by just focusing on yourself with a one-way ticket, not knowing how long it's gonna. But to, just do that and have your image be like taken off. No glory. Hitler, his narcissistic tendencies is blah 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 blah. But if we just look at the source, it's already wrong because of how little we gave him. You know, how little we, like, if someone's staring at themselves all the time, it must be because, no, it must be something negative. So we promote, like, take your time. You can, in our culture, like narcissism, it's like, it's branded as something bad. So but really, I believe that Narcissus, he was amazing, and he knew that humanity could get more, and he was willing to be hated, because if we love ourselves that much, we wouldn't wonder what he was. We we'd just be happy, and maybe he would have joined us earlier. Well, it's a myth, but think about it, you know. If you look at it differently, if everybody thinks that narcissism is actually a good thing, it doesn't have to stop there. It just stopped there because we judged and said nothing else comes out of it. No. It's such a beautifully, like, long-term, but this is a little bit of like this is a flaw, and if we fix this contradiction of the I and the collective, and if we manage to really, really, really align, Narcissus was a fucking genius. And we can change. We know thyself. That's it. And then you can know what you're doing here, and you can really, really love. And until we don't love ourselves for real, until we feel like there's limitations to self-love, you can't like get too caught up in the way you look. But that's not self-love, and that's not, it can't start, like, it's a process. It's like, it's life. But this could be a leap, like this could be a collective leap, because the way it was branded in us, self-love has a limit. And if you cross that line, you become a negative influence. Narcissus, dude, he was free to do that. And today that would be celebrated, but we still have it as a like narcissistic disorder, as a no, that's just one of the steps, and not every, it doesn't mean only one of, like, it's just Jesus Christ. Narcissus it was a sacrifice, but he was okay because he understood the bigger picture. And it can take us years, but if we change how we interpret one thing that really, really is at the core of the issues that we have, and if we don't see it as a problem, but we see it as a fucking amazing gesture of natural selection, it's going to bring us together. To this higher frequency that some of us we've been trying to do this. So McConaughey, he talks about selfish is selfless. You're arguing here on Narcissus. I don't know how to say his name, but we're all defending him, like the behavior, but we still have it. It's in us, this thing that there's a limitation. If you love yourself too much, that's not. No, if it's love, it's love. And if you're spending time on yourself to self-reflect, and if it takes your whole life, I really don't think it has to, because Narcissus did us a great favor. And we can, again, AI, I'm a fan. Like Lex, I do not think a romantic relationship, and I also think it could be bad for self-development. But yeah, my friends are probably algorithms. That moment when you need that song and it comes, and then the day you need to listen about two people you admire and want to work with, talk about love, talk about I had notes, but I'm so not like Lex. I'm not organized. But you know, the commitment, the value is in the commitment, not what you're committing to. Well, you can find value in everywhere, but like you talked about that, Lex and McConaughey, Matthew, and yeah, no, I'm so unorganized, but I have it. So, what did Matthew did? What does Byron Katie do? Like, turn it around, get relative. Interstellar. What? Okay, there's so much, but Nolan. Love is something that I believe is strictly connected to living as a verb, not necessarily surviving. And it's good to understand and to you appreciate more. We don't need to survive. We need to live. And if we reach this love frequency by just shifting something, a myth that's been corrupted, instead of used for construction. All right, I'm gonna stop. I think I got something across. I hope somebody understands, because I'm not just saying shit, but I know it's hard to find the frequency where you get what I'm giving, because I got what you're giving. It's all about how much are you willing to receive. So redefine selfish make it a good thing. Redefine one of the worst mental illness, narcissistic personality disorder. Don't use this name. It's a lack of love and a sense of superior. It's always lack of love. If we really love ourselves, we love each other. That's how you break the paradox of Narcissus. Because he got there. And now he needs us to get there. And then, boom! Collective, equal, love frequency. Man, that's evolution. And if I show this to my dad, he's gonna think I'm crazy. The way I speak. But I know that some people understand, so I just gotta keep doing. Because this is all about love. And love prevails.